Hello, everybody. This is your COVID-19 isolation quarantine pep talk. I think I needed a pep talk, and I think maybe you guys need one too. Are you going a little bit stir crazy, being stuck at home, not able to get out? Well, there's lots of shortages going on right now, and I think one of the biggest shortages that we've got is happiness. And if you know me, you know how much I'm interested in that topic. Feels like sort of like a short-term jail sentence. And I heard Adam Carolla, the comedian, say today that they say in the jail that you can either do the time or the time can do you, meaning that you can use the time to do something productive or the time can kind of own you. So let's make sure that we use the time. We've got lots of interesting time now, time that we didn't think we had available. A lot of us maybe sitting around not doing a whole lot, except watching the news networks and being worried. So we can either worry or we can work. So let's work on happiness. Let's work on improving ourselves while we have the time. So if you've been a student of mine, we talk about this, but how can someone be happy? Aren't we happy if we have lots of good things, whether it be fame or fortune, health or beauty, or you name it? But those things don't guarantee happiness, even though they are good things. But in the end, I think we're happy if we only have one good thing. I think there's only one good thing to have, maybe two. But the one good thing, the thing that can really replace all the others, is wisdom. And the second thing that goes along with that is then virtue. So two things I think then lead to happiness: wisdom and virtue. So how do you find then wisdom and virtue? And then, well, let's talk about what wisdom is first. Wisdom is not the same thing as knowledge. Dennis Prager uses the analogy of a map where he says knowledge is knowing where you are on the map, but wisdom then is knowing where you're going and maybe even how to get there. So there's a difference then between wisdom and knowledge. We're looking for wisdom. But then the second part thing is what is virtue then? And I would say that it is the three classic virtues of goodness, truth, and beauty. And if you've been in my classroom, you've seen the painting that says, pursue goodness, truth, and beauty. So how do we work on those things? I would say let's re-educate ourselves or educate ourselves for the first time on old things, things that are classics. What is something that's classical? Something that's classical is something that has had enduring value, something that people over different ages of time have found to be worthwhile. So while you've got some time, instead of watching the news and being worried, let's work on wisdom and virtue. I would say time to read some classic books, time to watch some classic movies, time to listen to some classic music, and maybe even get outside and take a walk. The weather's been great. I went out today and actually stayed out longer than I intended to. The weather was just so nice. Went for a walk and then a jog around the block. It was great. So here's my recommendation if I'm going to list some things here. Books. All right, so first I would say scripture. Pinocchio is a great book. I don't mean the Disney movie. If you read the book and then see the Disney movie, you probably will be like me and grow to hate the Disney movie. It's not the same story. You could read Watership Down was an influential book on my life. If you're of the fantasy genre or something along those lines, the Chronicles of Narnia series are great books to read. The Lord of the Rings books is a little more mature kind of reading level, but in the same genre of that. Man's Search for Meaning. We had a speaker at school a couple weeks ago that talked about that book, and actually I am reading that myself right now. Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. It's a good book to read. I would say anything by Jane Austen, anything by G.K. Chesterton, but find something good. Find a classic book to read. Movies. Lots of people now on Netflix and Amazon Prime and things like that. So I would say Sound of Music is good. Anything with Humphrey Bogart or James Stewart. One of my more modern classics, I think, is The Princess Bride. I think that's a great movie. Watch that. Music. For my classical music collection, mainly it's the Corelli concertos. I've grown to really love that. Felix Mendelssohn's concertos, Vivaldi's Four Seasons, and a more modern and still living composer is Billy McLaughlin, who does guitar work. And he's got a very interesting guitar style and has a great personal story. So if you're not sure, you're looking for something to read, something to watch, something to listen to, like I said, old things, and who knows old things better than old people? So ask your parents, ask your grandparents, hey, what's a good book I could read? And even better yet, find a friend and read the book or watch the movie or listen to the music together and then talk about it. But it's got an interesting time now, and we'll get through it. Keep your happiness up. Sometimes you got to work at it, but let's do the time rather than the time doing us. Let's make sure that we improve ourselves and work then at pursuing happiness. I hope I see you all soon, and have a good day. Bye-bye.